Hello and welcome to Limitless, the show that brings you love and inspiration on a Saturday morning. And today we have an amazing guest on the show. We have Sam Adebanjo, who is a contemporary Christian singer, songwriter, and author, a man with the passion to transform lives with the gift that God has deposited in him. So without further ado, we will be introducing Sam Adebanjo onto the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hello, 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 hello. Thanks for having me
It's a
on
pleasure. Always a pleasure.
this,
And of
this
course,
show.
Sam, you've done this beautiful song that I love so much, which I want to listen to pretty soon. But I want you to tell us about it because I know you've got a new song as well that you want to talk to us about, together with your book and all the things that you've done.
Yeah.
You Rescue Me. Tell me a bit about that song.
Oh, You Will Rescue Me is a song that I released in 2020. We all know what
Okay.
was going on
Yeah.
in 2020 with the COVID,
Mhm.
and I happened to be going through some personal challenges as well. And and the only prayer I could pray was, "You will rescue me." The
Yes.
battle is not mine, but God's. It's not mine, but yours. So simple song really, and that song I realized that everybody else was going through one
Mm.
challenge or another, and so a lot of people, the feedback from the song was just great because a lot of people were going through, so they could relate to the song the
Mm.
same way. So that song is still very, very much very dear to my heart. And I don't even feel the story for the song is finished yet because I feel like more people need to hear that song.
Yeah.
So that's my most recent song. And then there's a new one, different version, three different versions of Oba.
Yeah.
There's one Oba, Oba King, and Oba Oba. The reason why it's three different versions is because I love this song Oba so much. There's power. There's something so touching about that Oba. Again, I wrote that song during the challenges time as well. But the difference between Rescue Me and Oba is Rescue Me was praying, say, God, you rescue me. And then Oba is just now giving glory, just worshiping God, no matter what, like
Mm.
regardless of what I'm going through right now, regardless of how it looks like. Oh, Oba, I worship you. Oba means king. That who am I, that you are mindful of me. You are mine, that you're thinking of me, that you gave your life to for me. And there's a part of the song, like when it drops, it's like a flow of something. Just it's like there's a feeling. It's like I know I don't know how to explain it, but there's that part of the song that go, oh, Oba, Oba. Once you get to that, literally like something that happened in my soul. And there's a different realm of worship, even in when I've ministered the song that enters on that part when you say Oba, Oba, oh, Oba, Oba. So that's another really powerful song. I do not have a music video for that yet.
Mm.
Um, but however, it's a powerful song that you can stream free. Just put Sam Adebanjo Oba Oba or featured um um most recent one is with Isabella Melodies, and there's another version with Honest Ario,
Mm.
and and another one with the person that produced this song as well called Tobas. So there's different versions, but you'll find them online. Most people love all the versions, and
Mm.
yeah.
You by listening to your music and of course speaking to you as well, you strike me as somebody who loves to really get to the real sort of the spiritual element of the song, and it goes beyond just the lyrics, even though the music and the melody and the lyrics touches your soul and it's beautiful. It appears to me that you're constantly digging for that depth, that Holy Spirit moment, so that people can actually feel something. Is that the reason? Why was the reason you did so many versions and brought so many other artists and had, constantly trying to? What was the reason for that?
That's a really good point. Um, the song is when I first did the song, I recorded it with the producer. The producer sent me his version of the
Mm.
song, And I
Mm.
said, wow, I gotta leave this. This version is so good. I'm like, this is good. So I was like, yeah, I want you to feature on that too. Then I thought I needed somebody that carries a worship anointing. And
Yes.
the first, when I recorded the song initially, I recorded it with Isabella Melodies.
Yes.
So when we did the writing session, she was the voice on it. And but um I didn't feel like I wanted Isabella to be the one to have a particular main version of the song. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I wanted, I've been watching this lady, um, Honest
Mm.
Ario. I've seen she's been doing really well, and I thought she was just perfect person to feature on the song. So when I asked her, and she was like, "Yeah, I'll jump on it. I'll do the tracks." I said, "Yeah." And like, she sent me a version. It was perfect. It was perfect. So
Mm.
as I recorded that, I felt in my spirit that it was right to put the original person that actually did the, featured on it initially before the studio recording part of it, who is Isabel Melody, who are called she's my big sister in the ministry, and she's doing amazingly well. She's an anointed woman of God as well. So it was just, yeah, so we just did three different versions of the same song, and all the versions have a different tweak to it.
Yes.
And that's what I love about it. So it's like you listen to one and it's like the same song, the same production, but you listen that you hear another anointed woman of God with her own different take on it. You know
It's
what I
good.
mean? And some of the song has, so it's not exactly the same lyrics. Does that make sense? On the second part has a different lyrics in it, but the chorus remain the same and the vibe of the song is the same. So that's
Absolutely
pretty much it.
amazing. Oh, that's wonderful. I think it's
Yeah,
wisdom to understand that we all bring different vibes, different
we
expressions.
do. We do.
And as the Bible, the scriptures has layers and layers of meaning and depth to it. That
Yeah.
as many times as you read the word, you read the scriptures, you get a different side of the word of God. That's deposited in your spirit. It's the same way as how we take those words and the different expressions, different takes, isn't it? The different
Yeah,
experiences of life is expressed
absolutely.
through the music. I actually that newest one I've never heard, so I'm now looking forward to just by this
Yeah,
explanation.
yeah, check it out. Check it out.
Yeah,
It's
guys,
really
go check
lovely
it
song
out.
actually. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. Now, the song that we're going to listen to today is a different song, the one that you did first,
Yeah,
Restore. I
that's
love,
right.
absolutely love. But before that, I just want to talk a little bit about your life. I know that you're an English-based gospel artist, but
Yeah.
you are a Nigerian gospel singer. You come with a Nigerian vibe. Could you tell us a little bit about your history when it comes to music and how you got born again, your testimony, please?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I am a Christian artist. I've been on this journey this year, 20 years.
Mm.
Um, it's been interesting journey. Um, and my journey has been quite interesting because I wasn't always a born again Christian. So I went to university in Manchester and I was pretty much living, I gave my life to God when I was like 10, believe it or not, quite young. But then when I came to England in 2000 and 1995, and when I came to England, I was like, oh, nobody at my age is talking about Jesus. So I couldn't beat them. So I joined them. So I became, just basically I was living in the world. I was okay, but there's a lot of things I was kind of involved in. But then eventually I just thought, to the extent that there was a time where I was afraid I was going to go to jail, and I
Mm.
had a court case and all that stuff, and I was like, God is calling me, and the only way, I don't want to, I've wanted to. My dream is to go to university, get my degree, and now I'm here, and I'm almost gonna be, locked up because I was having back-to-back court cases and all that. And so I said, Lord, I'm changing my ways. I'm coming back to you, and this is the only way. So 2002, 2002, that's right, 2002, I rededicated my life back to God. I started living a godly way, and to God be the glory. In 2003, I started the ministry Desire to Worship God. And the reason why it was called Desire to Worship God was simply because I did not qualify to have a ministry only at less than 1 year of me rededicating my life to God. Um, Even though I was I went to church. That process didn't happen within a year. The process was me going, I was going to church. I went to mosque for a bit. Then I stopped going to mosque because my mom is a Muslim and she's still a Muslim. Pray for her. And, I went to mosque, and then from there, I started going back to church. Around 2000, 1999, I started going back to church, but I wasn't really I didn't give my life to God. I had not rededicated my life to God, but I was still living by what I knew when I was young. By saying like, yeah, I was a born again Christian. I know this. I know that. I've heard most of the stuff in the Bible. I know the Bible, but I was not living that way. Up until when things started happening in my life that shook me, and God got me to the place where I had to surrender, and that's where it got me here. And then the rest is history. 20 years on, uh, it's been bumpy road, but I must say that because of my desire to worship God, I have remained consistent in my love for music that glorified God. My love for seeking, searching. A lot of times, sometimes I doubt myself. Sometimes I feel like I'm not good enough. Sometimes I feel, why am I thinking this way? Sometimes I ask myself, am I really going to get my saved? But through all that journey, I've been consistent in to say actually that I've run a ministry uh, without stopping, releasing music, without doing concert, without doing tours, without. I've just continued to run the race, and sometimes I get tired, but I keep running. I keep going because the best thing I could have done for myself was to set up that name, Desire to Worship God, because it was never about me arriving. It was about me keep searching, keep finding, keep growing, keep desiring. And yeah, I'm here and I'm still standing by his grace.
Praise God. It's work. It's work in the world we're living in, where the enemy is constantly bombarding you with lots of things to pull you away
Yeah.
from focus as you try to keep your eyes on Him. You do actively. I think some people think that, yeah, you're born again and that's it, and it's just and in reality, that's the beginning, and there is a lot of, you got to keep your eyes on
It's a
Him,
journey. It's a
you know,
journey.
and so that He can keep you in perfect peace as you strive towards His perfection. You've got to, and
Mhm.
and I thank God for your life. Okay, I'll tell you what. Why don't we listen to "You Will Rescue Me" now, and then after that we will come back and we'll talk a little bit more about your life. Praise
Yeah.
God.
You will rescue me. The battle's not mine, but yours. You will fight for me. The battle's not mine, but yours. Not mine, but yours. Not mine, but yours. You will rescue me. The battle's not mine. You will. That is not mine. It's not mine. Oh, you will rescue me. Battle's not mine but yours. Oh, you will fight for me. Battle's not mine but yours. It's not mine but yours. It's not mine but yours. Battle's not mine but yours. You will rescue me. Battle's not mine but yours.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful song.
Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful song. That's just to give people a taster so that you guys can go out and actually watch it. Go and search for it. You Will Rescue Me by Sam Adebanjo featuring Sam Henshaw. Go out and get that song. Now, of course, and go out and watch it as well on YouTube and all the downloadable sites. You can also download it. And of course, we are joined with Sam Adebanjo, and he's talking about numerous things. His life, he's talking about his new single, he's talking about his book. So, Sam, you know, one of the things that really did inspire me about you was where I read how you had worked on various projects with phenomenal personalities such as Michael Jordan, President Barack Obama, and just to name a few. So, tell us a little bit about these this almost door openers that you've had, these experiences. How did they all come about, and what projects were they?
Yeah, I mean, we run so outside, well, gospel DTWG Desire to Worship God is also known as Gospel Touch. So the company we kind of rebranded in a way in 2012, and the aim of that was to take the name Desire to Worship God, make that I felt like that was too much in the face. Yeah. So we branded that to Gospel Touch, which allow us to actually now provide services. So we go to a corporate place, not just church. Yeah.
Yes.
Desires to Worship God became more personal. Yeah. Which is the foundation of everything else. But now Gospel Touch is AKA Desire to Worship God. So through that, we've been able to do loads of projects like during Christmas, Piers Morgan. We did a project with Michael Jordan, Barack Obama, which was Kobe Bryant tribute. So there was a choir. The choir on there was Gospel Touch.
Right.
So we featured a lot of other big names, Chance the Rapper, Common, and all that stuff. So I guess being on that platform on NBA, it was quite, I don't know how to say, but it was a blessing. Yeah, it was a blessing. It was a blessing because then you're looking at it like, wow, that's my brand. That's my brand on this level. And it just shows you that there's a lot of things you can achieve when you have a dream and you follow your purpose and you don't give up. Great things can happen.
Wonderful, loving it. I love these sayings, and of course, you've written a book as well. So, is that where this this what you just said, this snippet of wisdom here? Is that where it comes from, or is that what came through in the book? Tell us a bit about that book.
Yeah, I've got a couple of books actually. I actually have 5 books.
Oh, right, okay. I know Do It. I know about Do It. So tell us about, is that the recent one?
Yeah. Do It is not my recent book. My recent book is From Lagos to London.
Right.
That's quite different.
Okay, tell us about Do It, because that's the one I know.
Okay, Do It is basically a book of it's like basically a story of my journey from from dedicating my life to God, finding who I am, discovering my purpose, and going from that to being who I am now, an entrepreneur, a gospel entrepreneur, that run a gospel organization, of course, called Gospel Touch. So it's like using that. It's almost like I wanted to write this book. I wanted to write the book for a long time, but I was like, one day I haven't arrived yet. I haven't arrived yet. It's almost like, okay, when I, 2000 and in 2008, when I got my first good lines job that I was really happy about. I was like, okay, I'm gonna write this book about my story now. No, you haven't arrived yet. So I kind of feel like, yes, that book was, I felt like I've not arrived yet, but I felt like I had something to say.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was getting there and people can relate to this story. So I wrote Do It, Make a Fortune Doing What You Love. And that's all to do with how I've been able to do music full time.
Yeah.
And I feel successful at it. Of course, success can be measured. Uh, but I've achieved a lot in all my years of working. I've achieved a lot compared to all my years of working. With I'm in my own ministry business, and yeah, it's been great. I feel like it's inspiring story. So I've shared some of the nuggets in my books that will help other people succeed as well.
Wonderful. So, what about some of your other books? How have they been different from Do It? What else have you written then?
Talking about other books, actually, like I mentioned before, my recent one is from Lagos to London again. That is kind of like a secular book, but I'm not a secular person, so I'm a Christian. So everything I write, you're always gonna hear is that was my story. It's my story about how I came to England, blah blah blah, the things I went through in school, and how it's finished off by saying, uh, I'll find Christ, everything changed, now I'm married with 3 kids, things are great, living my dream, gospel artist, and all that stuff. So that's a recent one. And also Do It as well. Actually, I have a different version as well to it, which is become a millionaire artist. Christians don't like talking about money. Become a millionaire artist. So I guess some people ask me, so does that mean you're a millionaire? No, I'm not telling you. But it's basically the idea of it is for you to just become successful at what you do
Yes.
and all that stuff. So that's a perfect manual for everyone aspiring to do music full time and how they can do it. How I've done it. Again, quite similar to it's like a reverse copy of Do It of that one, but just with more information. I went deeper on science subjects and all that as well on it. The other one, I have a children book as well. It's called The Whole Armor of God. And that one I was, reading one time, sometimes reading with my kids and we got into the subject of, the whole armor of God. And it was quite interesting actually when we were talking about actually I'm gonna write a book about the whole armor of God. So I've got a children book. It's a really good book actually. About the whole armor of God with illustrations and pictures in it.
Yes.
And another one called Winning During Crisis, which is again I released in 2022 and 20. Again, just winning during crisis, just talking about opportunities, encouraging people, to just really don't give up. And I have a one investment book as well, which is general investment, but that's it for a different uh audience altogether. But it just educate that was just general education um about investment.
Yes, wonderful. That's really good. It's great the way that God has been able to shine a light through you, and you're able to run with that,
Yeah.
express that instead of hiding it, but actually using it, letting your light shine, in its different expressions and its different ways of showing that actually God is limitless when you allow Him into your life. There is nothing that you cannot do. It's absolutely wonderful. One of the things that I like, one of the quotes that I liked, is where you talked about the fact that your passion was to be able to reach for God, to teach people how to reach for God and find Him anywhere, even outside the confines of the physical church. I like that because it was that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That the church is not the building.
The
church is not the building, and when you leave church, that's not it. You don't go to church and tick and say, "Yes, I'm done church." Well, tell us a bit about that.
I said most people do, isn't it? Most people that would go to church and like, yeah, I'm done, and you put the Bible aside.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think, the thing is everybody have a different journey. Everybody have a different way they relate to God, and everybody have a different way that they are going to fulfill a purpose in their life and the way they're going to work with their God. So it's really important that that everybody just know that this is my lane. I'm going to walk. If I compare myself to you, I might not. You may have signed principles that has been instilled in you since you were a child, and I have a different principle in me that I have to battle with. Our journeys are always going to be different.
Yes.
So it's just up to us to keep looking and to keep learning and working. Don't give up. Keep working. Keep seeking. Until you find, seek,
wonderful,
search, knock. And the door will open.
That's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. It's so good when Christians are able to actually use what God has deposited into them. You use that word that's deep and rich within them and express it in whatever way they're gifted. Because you see, the thing is, the world is the actual world out there is reflecting their own mindset and their own ideology and their own expressions. And art is everywhere, but it's being carried by an art and finance and business and life within the marketplace is being reflected by those with a different mindset. And if we can be brave enough to step up and say, this is me, and this is how I express myself, as you have the Spirit of God as your foundation. Doesn't matter how you express yourself at the end of the day, but you express yourself. And I think those who are young in the faith and coming up come to know that actually, okay, I see God in even this as well. I see God in that. I see God in the way in which I deal with my finances. So seriously, what I'm saying to you is well done. And thank you so much for allowing God to express his multiplicity through you and his genius through you. So thank you so much for that. And I look forward to everything else that you release. Can you tell us how people can follow you? How they can find out a little bit about some of your programs that will be coming up and be able to.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thanks again for having me on your show. It's an honor. It's a blessing. People can find me through the website www.dtwg.co.uk, Twitter, official DTWG, or Sam Adebanjo, Facebook, Sam Adebanjo, and the list goes on. You can pretty much find me on there.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much. And I look forward to the next thing that you release, and hopefully you come back on the show again and share that with us.
No problem. Thank you so much. Yeah, good timing. My door is knocking in the room.
I hear it.
Yeah. Good timing. That's probably my son. It's time for bed now, Daddy. Put me to bed.
All right. Good night. Bye.
But thank you. God bless.
God bless you.
What's this about?
Yeah. What's this